Today, I share a very special story that happened to me in the early 1970s. Having studied many languages, in fact, I became a language teacher, I decided I wanted to study another language, and that was sign language. So I enrolled in Gallaudet College, which may be Gallaudet University now, and it was the Gallaudet School for the Deaf in Washington, D.C. It was a wonderful experience, and I learned a great deal during that time. At the end of the class, it was time to go home, and at that point, my parents were living in New York, and they were going to pick me up at the airport. So Gallaudet to New York City is only a 1-hour trip. And you can already imagine, what is she going to say? Well, we all got on the plane. I didn't know anybody, and that's typical for traveling. And we all fastened our seatbelts, and so off we went. Well, 1 hour, remember. Well, an hour went by, 2 hours went by, 3 hours went by, and the passengers, all of us, began to look like, what's going on? It's a 1-hour trip. Well, at a certain point, the pilot said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be coming down somewhere in Canada to refuel because we hit a storm and we could not go to New York to come down. Well, we all kind of looked puzzled, like, So we waited, he refueled, and we went some more. Well, 2 more hours passed, and finally we began to approach the New York airport. I say approach because we were still in the storm, and suddenly the plane was being tossed in every direction, and it felt dangerous. But what was amazing was that every passenger on the plane, first we all looked like, uh-oh, what's happening? And then we understood we were in danger. More hours went by, and we continued to be tossed by the winds, by the storm, and no one knew what would happen. Suddenly, each person on the plane began to understand that we didn't know if we were ever going to land. It was getting more and more dangerous. And so one by one, each person took the hands of the persons to their left and their right, and suddenly a plane full of people who did not know each other all began to pray. It was one of the most moving, beautiful scenes I have ever seen in my life. In that time of waiting, tossing and turning, and not knowing, we were united. We had become a family of people from everywhere, all praying for the same thing. Well, time went on. Many, many hours went by. Finally, we did land. And of course, our loved ones who were waiting for us at the airport didn't know what was going on. And so when we landed, they were running around frantically, like, where is my child? Where is my so-and-so? But when we got off the plane, the first thing that every one of us did was hug every single person on that plane. We had survived a near disaster together, and we had become one family, one loving family. And we all had to do that before we even went to see our loved ones who were waiting for us. We understood that a miracle had happened. In the time of a possible disaster, we had risen to the highest belief and asked all the angels and our Creator God to please watch over us, and we were watched over. It was one of the most powerful experiences I have ever had, because it showed me that we can be together at any time, all of us. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. When there is difficulty, we can reach out and become the loving human family that we really are. Life teaches us amazing lessons.